So, good morning. We are going to discuss about the chromosome banding technique. You know what the chromosomes are. The chromosomes carry, the significance of chromosome is that they carry the genetic material. So, any change in the genetic material has to be clearly visualized so that its difference between normal chromosome has to be studied. Otherwise, there are lot of consequences. So, in order to study mutations and other minute changes occurring in arms of the chromosome has to be done by a technique known as chromosome banding. So, chromosome banding technique stains the chromosome with a certain dyes. So, I am sure you are able to know what is chromosome and what is chromatin. Chromosome is found in the mitotic stage, especially during the metaphase stage. That is, they are visible as distinct arms as well as centromere. But in other stages, that is interphase stages, the chromatin is seen, which contains the genetic material. And you have studied euchromatin as well as heterochromatin. So, in chromosome, when we have to go for a banding study, the chromosome has to be made stabilized or it has to be fixed in the mitotic stage. For that, we use certain chemicals like colchicine, which will arrest the cell to that particular stage, especially to the metaphase stage. And in the metaphase stage, certain dyes will be added, and that dyes selectively stain some regions of metaphase chromosome more intensively than other regions, thereby producing characteristic banding patterns. And that banding patterns are specific for individual chromosomes. And this regularity of the chromosomal band serves as useful visible landmarks along the length of each chromosome, and it can help to distinguish chromosomes of similar size and shape. These are two photographs showing banding techniques in chromosomes. Here you can see dark as well as light regions in the chromosome. These can be called as bands. So, different dyes are used for banding technique. So, we can study the chromosome number, the structure, and other things of the chromosomes with the help of this dyeing technique. And after dyeing, the chromosomes are examined under microscope for cytogenetic analysis, which is known as chromosome banding. Most cytological analysis is performed on metaphase of mitosis. So, meristematic cell of root, shoot, tip of plant and embryo cells of animals are used for this technique. However, for cell culturing techniques, it has to be made possible to study chromosomes in other types of cells also. In human white blood cells, they are collected from the peripheral blood, separated from non-dividing red blood cells and put into culture. The white cells are then stimulated to divide by chemical treatment, and midway through division, a sample of the cells are prepared for cytological analysis. The dividing cells on treatment with the chemical disables spindle fiber formation. Spindle fiber formation means tubulin is the particular type of protein. Here the dyes are targeting, and thereby mitotically they are arrested, and thereby immersing them in hypotonic solutions, which causes the cells to take up water. On preparation for microscopic examination, such cells are then squashed on a slide such that the chromosomes are spread out in a uncluttered clustered fashion, which can be observed by staining. The stains such as Fuelgen's reagent or acetocarbon stains the chromosome uniformly, making difficult to distinguish one chromosome from other. We are following the acetocarbon stain in mitosis during our laboratory classes. So, we can see chromosome, but the chromosomes cannot be distinguished based on their size like that. and they cannot be distinguished. One chromosome cannot be distinguished from the other chromosome. So cytogenetics nowadays uses nowadays the cytogenetics uses these dyes that stain chromosome differentially along their length, and the staining of chromosome is known as banding technique because stains give rise to pattern of bands along the length of the chromosome. So different types of banding techniques are there. First one is Q banding. Q banding, as the name indicates, the Q stands for quinacridine stain. Quinacridine dihydrochloride or quinacridine mustard is the dye used for Q banding, and this is the most simplest and the first chromosomal banding method. Quinacridine stained chromosomes show a characteristic banding pattern, that is of bright bands on a darker background. Because quinacridine is a DNA intercalating agent and a fluorescent compound, the bands appear only when the chromosomes are exposed to UV light. So Q banding technique requires a UV light, and this UV light causes the quinacridine molecules to shine, and therefore the parts of the chromosome intercalated with the quinacridine shine brightly, whereas the other parts remain dark. The bright dark banding pattern is highly reproducible and is also specific for each chromosome. Thus, with quinacridine banding is used to identify particular chromosomes in a cell and also to determine if a chromosome is structurally abnormal. Quinacridine is an intercalating agent, as we have discussed. So it intercalates between the base pairs of DNA helix. It has more affinity for DNA sequence containing AT sequence, that is adenine and thymine sequences. Therefore, fluorescence of quinacridine is enhanced along AT-rich sequence and appear bright than GC-rich sequence. Quinacridine is a carcinogenic compound. The second type of banding is G banding. The G banding is most frequently used technique for chromosome staining in cytogenetics. G stands for Giemsa stain. Giemsa staining is an excellent non-fluorescent staining technique. Whatever we discussed first is a fluorescent staining technique. Giemsa creates a reproducible pattern of bands on each chromosome. It is still not clear why chromosomes show bands when they are stained with the quinacridine or Giemsa. Bright field microscope is used for visualization. In G banding technique, before using Giemsa stain, there is always a pre-treatment step. Usually, proteolytic trypsin is used for pre-treatment. Therefore, the process is also known as GTG banding. G banding by trypsin with the Giemsa. There is an alternative to Giemsa stain, and it is right stain. G banding also produces some same banding patterns as that of Q banding along the length of the chromosome. Giemsa stain has more affinity for DNA sequence rich in AT content, hence stained dark, while sequence rich in GC content stains light. Third type of banding is C banding. It is called centromeric heterochromatin staining. In this technique, before using Giemsa stain, the cell is pre-treated with alkali. Therefore, this technique is usually known as CBG staining. B banding by base with the Giemsa. Centromeric heterochromatin and distal part of Y chromosome containing highly repetitive DNA sequence, that is satellite DNA, is used to stain by C banding technique. So in order to distinguish the satellite DNA portion, we are going for C banding technique. The C indicates centromeric region. After staining, banding is viewed by bright field microscope. Then comes the R banding, which is known as reverse chromosomal banding. In this banding technique, the band pattern produced in chromosome is reversed to the band produced by G and Q banding. So it is known as reverse chromosome banding. The dark band, which is AT rich region observed in G banding technique, appears light in R banding and vice versa. R banding technique also uses Giemsa stain, but before staining with the Giemsa, the slide is heated at 88 degrees Celsius in a buffer solution. Heating causes denaturation of DNA. So denaturation of the chromosome at AT rich region occurs at faster rate, resulting in loss of DNA from these regions, but not from GC rich region. So the GC rich region is then stained by Giemsa stain, which appears stained. So that is known as R band. G banding is usually preferred over R